It's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P that I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, for the many comes the all, and the all is one. So I'm back again, jumping back in to drop a new video. I kind of wanted to just touch base and dive in on what I'm experiencing a little bit with these current energies. More specifically about what's happened throughout this quote unquote shift throughout the great Saturn Jupiter conjunction. Now, if you caught my last video, I did talk a lot about what all this means, how to tap into that energy, how to harness the power. This particular video, I'm going to go into talking a little bit more about my personal experiences and the lessons that's coming forth that needs to be shared with y'all. So before I get into all of that, be sure to take your time. If you are on Instagram or if you're watching this on YouTube, just like the page, like the video, subscribe to follow, just to kind of keep regular access to these videos, to the content that I'm dropping, and share it out. Share it out with those who connects with, those you resonate with. It's much appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to grow the connections in the community, so I can't do it without y'all, all right? So peace and blessings, your boy Zay. Simple request. So now getting back on topic. In the last video, I talked about the different archetypal energies that both Jupiter and Saturn represent. Saturn being kind of the king of pragmatism, the king of the practical, the king of the pragmatic, however you want to see it. Whereas Jupiter being kind of the clarion call. Jupiter is the possibilities, the limitless open-endedness invitation that's available to all of us. This is where all your ideas, all of your abundance, the dream life that you desire, that you always consider a dream life, but not everybody actually gets to touch upon it. All that energy resides with Jupiter. When the two come together, what's really being asked, we're really brought to a place of choice. And that's what the things that's coming through with this conjunction energy. Big thing is about choice. We are invited to choose into the reality we want. And so now I want to get into talking about a little bit about timelines. So when it comes to choice is basically an expression of fractalization of energy, where we need to go in one direction or another. Depending on the direction, this causes particular timelines. One particular timeline versus another particular timeline. One choice versus another choice. You choose to go left, you choose to go right. Both options are possibilities. Therefore, on some energetic level, both options are realistic to manifest. Therefore, they become their own individual timelines. Now, that which you choose to embrace and experience in your physical reality is that which manifests in full, while the other timeline may dissipate into a more energetic state for another time to be resurfaced. That's another story. That said, the current choice that's being presented to all of us is one that is cataclysmic for our individual lives and for the collective. It's timeline choice. It's timeline shift. So this is what happens when we start to think about ideas like the splitting of the earth and the two earths. Right now, we're in a point of choice. And it is very easy to stick with the traditional things that we've been taught, to stick with life as we've known it. It's very easy because we've been conditioned that way. But the limitations are taken off. The reins are taken off and choice is allowed. And this is the moment that we get to opt in and choose into that which we want. So we can choose to continue being on the same path that we've been on. We can choose to continue living life, the regular rigmarole, the regular day-to-day, the regular survival mode, whatever it may be. Or we can choose to step into something greater, something grander, something more indicative, more expressive, more reflective of that which we truly are. Now, the idea of choice sounds beautiful, but taking action in choice is not the easiest thing in the world. It can be very difficult. The simple fact of the matter is, just because a choice is made, until that energy is put forward in action, in the things we do, in the ways that we live, that choice is for naught. It is just a mental decision. Therefore, it's still etheric. It is not does not become a physical expression or physical manifestation until we begin to move, until we begin to take some action in that direction. That said, we are really all called for to make choices in our lives, very difficult choices. Now, the only reason why I say they're difficult, they may not be difficult. It sounds very easy to say, yes, I want the best life. Or yes, I want to manifest this particular aspect. I want to manifest this bit of greatness in my own life. I want to manifest this experience. It's all well and good to say all of that. But to dedicate and to invest the energy, the actual energy, and to descend that into our body, into our physical vessel, and begin to take action on those things we want, that takes effort, that takes intention, that takes time, that takes a level of love. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you put your intention and your attention towards the actions you want to take, towards the things you want to manifest, that's where that energy will flow. However, it is not that easy. It is not that simple, because we have been conditioned, because we have learned certain ways of being, and we have learned certain standards from society, certain ideas, the traditional ideas like not quitting, ideas like never changing. In areas like mine, one of the greatest things that people will say is that I don't change. I never change. I keep it real to the core. Who I was is who I am, is who I will forever be. And that all sounds great and hunky-dory for whatever purpose, but the truth of the matter is change is inevitable, and change is going to come whether you like it or not. And you yourself as individuals want to change, because change represents and is indicative of growth, right? If we are not changing, then we are stagnant. If you are stagnant, you are standing still. You're not growing in your life. You're not growing in expansion. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here. And that's having experiences. That's growing into that which you truly are. So, the reason why this current time with the Jupiter-Saturn conjunct is because we're being offered a choice right now. You're being offered the choice to continue life as you've been living it, continue life in the ways that you come accustomed to. Whether you've been living in survival mode, whether you've been living in fear-based mindset, whether you've been perceiving lack and limitations, whether you've been living in abundance, in your mindset, you've been having this financially prosperous life, but maybe you're having all sorts of emotional instability and all sorts of other things falling to the wayside. So with that said, we're invited to make a choice. Continue the path you're walking. And this is the idea of being in the 3D, of being on the 3D timeline. To continue that path, continue that same course of action, of not actually changing, but continuing the status quo, of trying to maintain what has been and what is in current reality collapsing. Your other choice is to lean into what you truly desire, to really take the risk, taking leaps of faith, trusting in the universe, trusting in spirit, trusting in yourself, because you know spirit resides within. You know source resides within, and that all your capabilities stem from that source, right? So these are your two options, and these are the two timelines. And this other timeline of leaning into the grandness of who you are, leaning into the abundance and the prosperity and the possibilities of such, that's more along the 5D timeline. That's more along these higher dimension, higher vibration timelines. We all are at a fork in the road, a splitting of the energies, and we're all being invited to choose what path we want. Some of us may have been experiencing great things in 3D and may not be ready or may not want to shift to the next level. Some of us may have been ready long ago and may have already started that process. But here now, at this particular time and place and moment, the invitation is to make that choice, because whatever we're leaning into going forward for the duration of this year is going to set the status quo for our lives for years to come. And while that might sound scary, that can also be a very good thing. It really depends on what you choose, right? So if you're playing it safe, if you've lived a life that has been small up to now and has been stagnant, but it's just what you know, it's tradition, it's stagnant, and so you played it safe all the time, and that's what you've gotten up to now, and you're got fear in your heart, and you don't know what comes next or how to make that next move, and so you're choosing to continue to play it safe, to play it small, then you are actively choosing to stay on this timeline that may or may not be serving you. It's not for me to judge, only you can decide that. However, if you're choosing to be bold, to lean into the things that really inspire you, that really move you, to lean into the life you truly want, that's a very scary thing, because that may require a lot of change on your part. That may require accepting change. See, not only are we invited to make a choice between a higher timeline and a lower timeline, and this is not to say one's better than the other, because they both serve a purpose. They both serve a purpose for what we individually are looking to learn. But that said, as the energy splits and these experiences start to become more and more contrasting, you start to see more and more people having either or. I'm having this very 3D dense experience, or I'm having this very flighty, hoity-toity, life is good experience in the 5D. Either way, change is coming to the planet. It's inevitable. And so this choice that you make, that you lean into, while these changes come, whether it's going to be more disclosure of different levels of truth, whether it's going to be shifts in government, whether it's particular polar shifts in our actual environment, polar shifts internally, change is here. Change is coming. And so whatever you choose, you're not going to avoid change. You're never going to avoid change. You're never going to have all the answers, and you're never going to know which way is the right way. Reason for that being that there is no right or wrong to this thing that is life. There is no right or wrong to this thing of this life. It's just life. You can't get this wrong. So do not feel that, oh my God, I'm going to make a wrong choice. That said, understand that change is coming and change is inevitable. And what you're choosing into now is setting the litmus for your life for years to come. So at this time, I invite you all to be bold and to choose into your highest experience. And that may very well be in the 3D. You could have been doing very well here in the physical, maybe financially, maybe you got the life that you always thought you wanted, and there's nothing wrong with choosing to stay there, to remain in that traditional space. There's nothing wrong with choosing to live your life the way that it's been set up. But if you're choosing to step into a higher timeline or shift things in your reality, that's also going to require work. But these things will be scary. There will be lots of unknown and lots of leaps of faith. Leaps of faith are needed at this time. It's a leap of faith to choose to be the same, because you're choosing to be the same in hopes that being the same will continue to work for you throughout whatever changes come. It's a leap of faith to choose to change and lean into something that may resonate with you more. So whatever you're choosing, understand that it's a leap of faith, but there is a choice, and this choice is in front of you now. Choose that which serves your highest good. Lean into it. Have trust. Keep your faith. You are connected with the divine, and so what is for you, what is divinely connected to your purpose, will be for you regardless of what you choose. Now is not the time to be fearful. Now is the time to see your abundance and your possibilities and lean into that. Expand into that. Live that truth. Live your truth. As scary as it is, as unknown as it is, that is where your greatness lies. So, it's your boy Zay-P. You're sharing some love. Wanted to drop those insights. I'm out.